Okay, political news. In the United States, Senator Sinema, a Democratic senator from Arizona, has left the Democratic Party, or is leaving the Democratic Party. She will register as an independent, and she will, while she will probably continue to caucus with the Democrats, that is, continue to be supportive generally of the Democrats. She will no longer be an official member of the Democratic Party. She will be an independent, and she's not going to go to meetings of the Democratic Party. She's not going to be affiliated in any way with the Democratic Party, but she's not joining the Republican Party either. So she is an independent. Not clear exactly why she did this. Notice she did it after the Georgia election, so the Democratic majority is solid even without her. Maybe she did this to run as an independent in Arizona when she's up for election, I think in 2 years. Maybe she did it to switch ultimately to the Republican Party and then run in Arizona. I don't know why she did it. Maybe she's not running for re-election. She did it out of a sense of integrity, that she didn't feel like she belonged in the Democratic Party and doesn't really belong in the Republican Party either. But it is interesting. It'll be interesting to see how this impacts things coming down the pipe from the Senate. I don't know that it will impact anything, but it's got to at least shake the Democrats up a little bit that she left. I think the more progressive wing of the party is probably relieved and probably is happy to see her go, particularly given, again, that the Democrats already have a majority no matter what. Sinema is one of the last kind of more what you'd call conservative Republicans. Lieberman did the same thing. It was a long, long time ago. And of course, a Republican, I forget the name of the Republican, also did it the other way. So it happens periodically. It hasn't happened in a while, I think in at least a decade. But it is politically interesting, and her political future now is going to be interesting. So we will see. We will see. Wes, thank you. Wes jumped in with a not a question, but just a support of the show at $50. So thank you, Wes. Get us on the road to 250. All right. So Sinema, we'll see. I mean, I don't really like much what she stands for. She resists the very she resists the very, what do you call it, woke stuff on the left. She definitely resists the worst of the worst. But she endorsed certain tax increases. She lobbied for certain tax cuts. She's very crony in that sense. She's very influenced by the people who fund her campaign. She's very influenced by the powers to be, who she thinks are the powers to be in Arizona. So I'm not a huge Sinema enthusiast, but she certainly does beat many of the kind of left-leaning Democrats, and she certainly wasn't she wasn't an obvious a vote for the Democrats, which was always good. Now she's not a Democrat anymore. We'll see what kind of role that plays. One of the things Sinema is involved in is a bipartisan bill that she's working with I think, Tillis from North Carolina, the Republican from North Carolina. It's interesting now, you read these articles with Sinema in them, and it says I from Arizona instead of D from Arizona, so that's a change. Her and Tillis are working on a bipartisan immigration framework. It's an immigration bill. They hope to get past the Congress in this lame duck session, so before January, when the new Congress comes in, because they know they can't get it passed then. This framework will attempt to kind of solve kind of the border crisis and also the Dreamers. So it is kind of a compromise between Democrats and Republicans where the Border Patrol agents get a hike. The budget for Border Patrol goes from $25 billion, increases by, what is it? No, it's going to be 25 up to $40 billion of increasing for the Border Patrol in terms of money. And at the same time, it's going to involve a pathway to citizenship for 2 million illegal immigrants protected by DACA, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrival program. It will also supposedly keep in place what's called Title 42, which is how to deal with refugees or people crossing over the border and our ability to kick them out or return them to Mexico. And but that's only for a year, so that would keep Title 42 in for a year. But generally, this is that compromise that they've always talked about. We'll give the dreamers citizenship or put them on the path to citizenship, and on the other hand, increase funding for Border Patrol. I think both of those, I think overall, that kind of compromise is probably inevitable. It's sad. It's sad that we cannot come up with a comprehensive program for immigration. We cannot come up with a comprehensive program to increase legal immigration at the expense of illegal. We can't come up with a comprehensive guest worker program or comprehensive dramatic increase in H-1B visas. Just generally a system by which we increase legal immigration, which I think just having that will decrease illegal immigration. And a way to, at least the DACA kids, get them a legal status. And it shocks me that we can't come to some agreement about giving legal status to people who've lived here 20, 30, 40 years and who are illegal and can't, without giving them citizenship, can't get them some kind of work permits in some kind of way in order to live legally. So I think that, immigration policy is just one big, massive failure. I, of course, would like to see a much more open borders, much more, free immigration. Even if you want to restrict immigration, I think it would be the only way to restrict it is restricted maybe on the basis of jobs, that is, provide legal entry to anybody who has a job, who can get a job in the United States. So a much, much more liberal immigration policy. Instead, they're tinkering at the edges. They're wasting a lot of money. They're wasting a lot of resources. The United States is still in a position where, there is a shortage of workers. There is a massive shortage of workers, in particular fields, and yet we have massive numbers of illegals. We should be converting the illegals into legal. We should be opening up our immigration status for more people to come in. So it's a mess. A little tinkering at the edges is better than nothing, but it is a mess, and it's only better than nothing. Thank you for listening or watching the Yaron Brook Show. If you'd like to support the show, we make it as easy as possible for you to trade with me. You get value from listening. You get value from watching. Show your appreciation. You can do that by going to yaronbrookshow.com/support, by going to Patreon, Subscribestar, Locals, and just making a appropriate contribution on any one of those channels. Also, if you'd like to see the Yaron Brook Show grow, please consider sharing our content and, of course, subscribe. Press that little bell button right down there on YouTube so that you get an announcement when we go live. And for those of you who are already subscribers and those of you who are already supporters of the show, thank you. I very much appreciate it.